reach, and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian Afromedia channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume no responsibility.
Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afromedia offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives.
In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development.
All right, thank you very much, everyone joining us. We really appreciate your time on this broadcast this hour. It's going to be a great time as Nigeria decide, and Nigeria went to poll yesterday. It was a great time. The election has been so peaceful. We got a very good feedback from our correspondents from Nigeria. And tonight we're going to be having a conversation with one of our very own, one of the leader of the community, Fans YUSUF, is going to be connecting with us. Dr. Fans YUSUF, he is a chief as well. He's going to be connecting with us. He's an experienced man and is a man of the time that is going to be with us on this studio this hour, and we're going to be having a great time with him. So just please kindly stay tuned. Let's do it together. Together we can do it. Together we can make it great. Africa will be a great continent when we believe in ourselves, when we start making sure that we tell our story by ourselves. And that is one of the great things that Afromedia Canada is doing in connection with the African Portal Radio, to bring the balance and to make African voice to be heard all over the world. And we are live on direct right now, right here on Afromedia Canada, broadcasting from the studio in Canada. And we coming to you live from our studio as well here in Victoria, South Africa. This is the African Portal Radio TV International in conjunction with Afromedia Canada. Kudos to all the great people behind the camera. Thank you very much. This is Africa on camera, and it's a great time on this broadcast this hour. Thank you very much, the team in Canada, for the great job that you guys are doing. I really appreciate it. Keep sharing it, keep showing it. Let this go viral. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. So please kindly share this program. Let it go viral. I greet you all according to your time zone, and I greet you according to your language. I greet you no matter where you are, no matter the country you reside. I greet you and I welcome you to this great time on the African Portal Radio TV International. In South Africa, Dumela, Ashe, Moloi, in northern part of Africa and the rest part of the world. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone. And in Jerusalem, shalom to everyone listening to this broadcast this hour. And in other part of the countries where you speak Portuguese, we greet you. French country, we greet you. English country, we greet you. We greet everyone listening to us no matter where you are. In Spanish-speaking country, we greet you. In Italian-speaking countries, we greet you and we welcome you to this beautiful time. In Nigeria, Kedu, in eastern part of Nigeria, and in northern part of Nigeria, in Nakwana, and Nile Yoba, Ekale, Ekudede Woyi. Welcome to another great time on the African Portal Radio TV International. I'm just waiting for my guest to get into the studio. Immediately we receive him in the studio, we will start this broadcast fully. And please kindly share. That is the only thing you can do. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. Keep sharing it, keep sharing it, keep sharing it. Let the studio in Canada just give us a few adverts as we are still waiting for the guests to come into the program. Thank you.
We broadcast from Ottawa City, the capital of Canada. Together, we raise the bar and expand our reach. Through Afromedia radio and social media channels, the viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian Afromedia channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume no responsibility.
Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afromedia offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives.
In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development. In the coming show, we will have In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development. In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time on this broadcast. This hour is overdue, and we really appreciate every one of you that you are connecting. We have one of our very own, one of the leader of our community, live and direct all the way from Nigeria. We have managed to get him here in Canada and also in our studio here in Victoria, South Africa. Kudos to all the teams in our studio in Canada, Afromedia Canada, in conjunction with the African Portal Radio, bringing on the spotlight, and one and only great leader, Dr. Fast A.O. YUSUF, is with us in the studio. Sir, I really appreciate your time on this broadcast. I know you've been on the road since morning, election in Nigeria. It has been a busy day. We are so happy to have you here. Welcome to the African Portal Radio TV, and welcome to Canada, Afromedia Canada, here on the African Portal. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. It's my constituency. I have to set aside other things to be able to join you. But it's indeed my pleasure.
I really appreciate that, and I really thank you because you accept our invitation to be here, and at the same time you put many things aside to make sure you are here in your busy schedule, and you still give us some times to be here. You are not new to this house. We know you. We've been following you, the great work you've been doing. Kindly introduce yourself to the listeners around the globe, who you are, where you are, and the position you hold in the society.
Well, I'm a Nigerian of Yoruba descent. My mother is from Delta State. I was born some 68 years ago. I went to primary school in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, Nigeria. Then I studied variously, privately, in UK and in Nigeria. I have with due honesty and humility. Has some series of qualifications in journalism, public relations, advertising, marketing, mass communication, management, law, and corporate governance. I have a PhD in mass communications, MSc mass communication, MBA, that is master's degree in business administration from UK Henley Business School. I have a law degree from Ogun State University, now Olabisi Onabanjo University. I also went to the Nigerian Law School before I was called to the Nigerian bar and enrolled as a solicitor and barrister of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. I have a diploma in marketing, diploma in the
All right.
Marketing, UK, and so many other qualifications. I worked at many times. I was in the Nigerian Police Force briefly before I joined Raw Publicity in the 70s. Thereafter, I worked with Adibale Group, and thereafter, I established my own outfit. I was managing director of another company, Guy Series Limited, before I became a commissioner in Ogun State, Commissioner for Information, Youth, Sports, and Culture. Then I was also chairman of Sketch Press Limited. I was the director of Tafawelewa Square Investment Limited. And presently, I'm a lawyer. I'm also a lecturer in mass communication at the University of Lagos. And I also teach total quality management and business communication at the University of Lagos Business School. And I also engage myself in writing and doing some other things, lecturing, motivational speaking, and some other things. I'm a community leader. I'm the Bagwimo of Ijebu Land, and I'm also in charge of, I'm the coordinator of the annual Judaba Festival. And that's the gift of the Ijebus to the whole world in terms of religious tolerance. And so many others. I think let me not bore you with the introduction. You requested for it.
I really appreciate that, sir. And I thank you very much. The great achievement. You have a very great tracking record, and we have already gone through that. You send your resume as well. We'll read through your resume, and we know that we are having a big guest on this program this hour. As a former commissioner in Ogun State and also a lecturer at the University of Lagos, Business School. You're doing great. A lot of people have been hearing about it, have been talking about it. Let's talk about Nigeria. Let's put Nigeria on the spotlight. Election happened yesterday. The counting is still continue. What is your view, and where is Nigeria at the moment?
Well, the general election started yesterday with the presidential election, the senatorial election, and the House of Representatives election. So far, only the result of the presidential election that took place in Ekiti State has been officially announced. The rest has been based on speculations. I know in journalism, we don't deal with speculations. If you are in doubt, you are admonished to leave out. So we can only talk about the results released in Ekiti State for the presidential election. Then the senatorial elections and the House of Reps elections, they are released at senatorial districts and House of Reps headquarters, respectively. So many of the results of the senatorial seats have been announced, and also some of the federal House of Representatives have been announced. But of course, the big one or the biggest one is that of the House of Representatives. The presidential election. But I think by this time tomorrow, the picture will be very clear, and we'll know where we are. But let me say that we are on the verge of making history, and we are having democracy unbroken for the past 24 years. And that is the longest we've ever had. Don't forget that in 1966, they terminated the democracy that started in 1960, October 1, 1960. So it means that was just about 5 years and 2 months. And that of 1979 to 1984, I mean, 83, just about 4 years. And of course, the contraption by Babangida. So we have every reason to count our blessings. That's not to say that it is Uhuru yet. It is not. We have a long way to go in terms of corporate governance, in terms of democratic norms, in terms of being able to, focus on developmental issues rather than primordial issues. But I believe once we're able to sustain democracy, and once democracy is firmly rooted in our ethos, then Nigeria will be able to take its pride of place in the Committee of Nations.
Great, sir. Great. And I really, really appreciate that information that you put on the spotlight. Let's look at yesterday's election. It's one of the peaceful election. We tried to walk around the whole city, different city yesterday, and we see that there is no casualty. The election is going peacefully well. Are you satisfied with the way the election was conducted in Nigeria yesterday? As a lawyer, as a public figure, are you satisfied with the way things go yesterday around Nigeria?
To a large extent, the elections went well yesterday, but there were some reports of skirmishes, some untoward happenings here and there. Of course, to be expected. Even in America, though, we witness such things. But by and large, I think there's an improvement in the previous ones. But I think there's always room for improvement until we're able to get a complete report from independent observers, foreign observers, and local observers, and we're able to collate and aggregate them. Then that is when we can say whether we give INEC a pass mark or, thumb up or thumb down. But by and large, I think from reports reaching us, it's been beyond the average. And that's to say that there's always room for improvement.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for that information. You are a journalist and also you are a lawyer. And I like that we are putting you on the spotlight because you are a knowledgeable person. You have an idea of what is going on. When I spoke to you, I think about 3 days ago, you told me you are in the court. You are just coming out of the court. Let's look at the judiciary system in Nigeria. A lot of people seem to be losing interest in judiciary system in Nigeria, saying that the court is no longer a place to run to when you are not satisfied with one thing or the other, especially the ordinary citizen. What can you tell us about this? Is this is this a reality or is just a mere thing? Are you with me, sir?
Okay. Yes, yes, but I lost you momentarily. Yes, please do.
Okay, all right. I'm talking about the judiciary system in Nigeria. You know, because one of the benefits of democracy is the judiciary system to be in place, to be able to help the ordinary citizen and to be able to intervene when there is any unrest or when people are not satisfied. Let's look at the Nigeria judiciary system. Can you say that judiciary system in Nigeria is in a good position? Or can we say that there are challenges surrounding judiciary system in Nigeria?
I would not be living up to expectation as a legal practitioner if I say it is not. That is to say that I'm in a position to confirm to you that the Nigerian judiciary system is live, working, operating, relevant, and above all, doing very well. Of course, there's no perfect system in any part of the world. Perfection belongs to God Almighty, and of course, as I think one of the greatest jurists in Nigeria, Uputa, the late Uputa, said that the Supreme Court is final not because it is above reproach, but because there must be an end to litigation. So that is to say that after the Supreme Court, there's nothing you can do. You can only appeal to your creator. So in the case of the Nigerian legal system, I'm in a position to tell you that the judiciary is living up to expectations. That's not to say that you don't have some cases of infractions on the part of those in the temple of justice or those who adjudicate. But by and large, it is well and direct. The judiciary in Nigeria, despite its imperfection, despite its vicissitudes, despite the problems, it's one can be proud of anytime, any day. Don't forget that Nigerian juries are served in the World Court, and many others are also served in the bench of the World Court. And there have been many occasions where Nigerian juries have been seconded to other countries in the world. So the judiciary is live, direct, and working. And if all the instruments, all those things that will make judiciary to function as we have in Canada, as we have in United States of America, as we have in Britain, are provided in Nigeria, you can be sure that Nigerian legal system will be the best. Well, let me be modest about it, will be one of the best in the world. Presently, it's still one of the best, and we can beat our chest that we are doing our best to make the citizenry, to make the judiciary the last hope of the common man.
All right, all right. I'm very happy to hear that is the last hope of the common man. I like the word you used there because it's one of the things that I think we need to put in place, especially here in Africa. Let's look at the few weeks before the election. There are so many things that happen before the election. Scarcity of petroleum products, and also there is no currency in Nigeria. People are buying naira against naira. These have been one of the challenges that people face before the election. And the Central Bank of Nigeria was in a court, and the High Court, the highest court of the land, gave an order that the government should suspend cancel the old currency and the new currency. Give us an update. Is the president already, do what the High Court said, or is there any contradiction in that case?
I think, regrettably, it's been subject to several interpretations. That's what we in journalism will call a selective perception. It's so sad that people decided to interpret, to give the interim order of the Supreme Court the type of interpretation they wanted, which is very melancholic, is very sad. The Supreme Court gave an order that the federal government should maintain the status quo ante bellum. That is, maintain the situation before the matter was brought to the Supreme Court. But the federal government decided to interpret it the way it felt, and to compound the problem, the governor of the central bank, who to my mind should have been fired by now, also was giving his own interpretation as if he was above board. As if he was above the law. But in any case, you will not blame him, you blame the federal government, and indeed you blame the Attorney General of the Federation for misinterpreting the order of the Supreme Court. So the situation we're in now is that the Supreme Court allowed all the parties to consolidate their cases, and it has given the 3rd of March for the day to deliver judgment. And I think on the 3rd of March, we'll be able to know where we belong. But unfortunately, the president, interpreting the Supreme Court interim order the way he felt like, said that the currency that was being swapped, they should allow the 200 naira note to run pari passu with the new 200 naira note, while outlawing the 500 naira and the 1,000 naira notes. And they requested people to take the 500 naira and the 1,000 naira old notes to the central bank branch offices all over the country. But unfortunately, the arrangement was shoddy. So the extent that the whole place became a house of madness. And to this moment, the people have been subjected to myriad of problems, and Nigerians are now being pauperized. You are made to deposit your money with the banks. Unfortunately, you cannot collect your money, which is very sad. And I don't know why government should embark on such an ill-conceived and badly executed policy that will pauperize the people, that will bring untold hardship on the people of this country at the time we're about going to a general election. This is very sad. And this is inhuman, this is sadistic, this is the highest form of man's injustice to
sorry about that.
with you.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate what you just said now, sir. But let's look at this. Let's look beyond the current situation of the Nigeria regarding the currency, regarding the scarcity of petrol. Let's look at the election. Do you think that this issue of the currency change, just few weeks before the election, do you think is a kind of a system for the government to control the corruption or buying of the votes during the election? What is your view about all these things? As a journalist, as a lawyer, what is your view? And what do you think is actually the main thing that government want to achieve by doing this?
Well, I'm not the spokesman. I'm not the spokesman for the government. But what the government has said is that they want to curb corruption. They want to curb illicit fund trafficking. They want to curb electioneering dishonesty and all that. But let me tell you, as a lawyer, that it is not the responsibility of central bank to curtail crime and criminality in the country. That's the job of other agencies, like the police, like the FCC, like ICPC, and the rest. For us to think that CBN will not take it upon itself that they're saying that a lot of corruption and all the rest, is CBN not corrupt? Who's monitoring who? Is it the responsibility of the CBN to monitor people, to arrest people, to prosecute people? It is the job of the police. It is the job of the FCC. It is the job of ICPC, depending on what you have done, depending on your criminal infraction. But unfortunately, in this type of environment, so many things happen. So many things happen. People believe that they can just come to the scene and not they can bamboozle their ways. They can go to the president and tell the president anything, and the president without proper consultation, without going through the National Council of States and all the rest, and without doing the necessary things, we just give approval, we give a fiat. This is something affecting nearly every Nigerian. And like I've always said on many other programs, this thing is not targeted at the novo rich, the big men in the society. If you're a bank director or you're a bank owner in this country, can anybody deny you access to the new currency notes? Nobody. No employee of the bank can deny you. They can only deny poor people like me and you. And even as poor as I am, I still have access to few thousands. But the other man who needs 2,000 naira, 1,000 naira, 3,000 naira, 4,000 naira, you've had cases of people dropping dead on queues to collect just because they wanted to collect 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. I'm sure you saw some ladies stripping themselves naked. You saw a woman. Yeah, you saw a woman at Falamo, stripping herself naked, pouring petrol on everybody, wanting to ignite that petrol. So is that program targeted at the novo rich? the big men and the big women in society. No.
Sad.
They are targeted at the poor masses, which is very sad. It's very sadistic of them.
So let's look beyond these challenges now, because most of the laws, most of the action taken by the federal government is only the masses, the ordinary citizen that is facing the punch in their faces. But let's look at the current situation right now, since the elections coming in. We hope that the election result is going to bring balance to this. But let's talk about Nigeria economy beyond the 2023. Do you see Nigeria growing in economy, or do you see things getting better if another person comes in?
Of course, things will surely get better, because I can tell you that the present administration is slim duck. It's bereft of ideas, and it's very, very inconsequential. I expect whoever that comes on board to be able to assemble good economic team, to be able to get people who are development focused, who are ready to take Nigeria to the Eldorado, people who will be able to navigate change, people who will believe in the growth and development of this country. This country, out of business being poor, we are blessed as a nation. Look at what happened recently in Turkey and Syria. Earthquake. Have you ever experienced that in Nigeria? Look at how many people died. Have you ever witnessed any foreign wars? So we have everything from petroleum, we have gas, we have bitumen, we have gold, we have name anything God has blessed this world with that is not in Nigeria. The problem with us is that we do not know how to manage our resources, and that our leaders in the past and present do not have focus. They lack focus, they lack identity, and they cannot navigate change. They cannot ensure that we get to the promised land. We were in this country when things were a bit better. We thought those days that things were rough, but now, what do you say? It is monumentally disastrous.
All right, sir. Sir, you've lived in abroad before and you understand the system in some part of the world. As a journalist, as a lawyer, and as an experienced person, you've been once a commissioner in Ogun State. Let's look at the democracy we are practicing in Africa. If you look at England as an example, England is practicing democracy, but still they are still reporting to the Queen. It's kind of a system of still having a monarchy system in England, because no matter who becomes the prime minister, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, let's use England as a case study. England is the one that said that they give independence to Nigeria. But let's look at the kind of democracy we are practicing in Nigeria or in Africa. England is still reporting back, no matter who become the prime minister of England or of Britain. They are still reporting back to the Queen to give the feedback before they can pass any law in England. But how come in Nigeria we are practicing a democracy whereby the politicians are on top of the kings? I'm asking this question because you are a chief as well, and you are very close to the palace. Why is it that there is no monarchy system in Nigeria that can check and balance to call the politician in order in case if they go astray?
Don't forget that the current constitution we are operating does not give any constitutional role to our monarchs, to our kings. And again, the proliferation of kings in Nigeria would not make it possible. In Britain, you have only the King of England or the Queen of England, as the case may be. And because they run the parliamentary system, which we started with in 1959, but unfortunately, which we abrogated with the military out of fear. They thought they were doing us a word of good, but they brought in a presidential system that is very expensive, the most expensive to run, that is winners take all, and that is what we are facing. In a situation where you have more than 500 first-class monarchs in Nigeria, and we have more than 300 linguistic groups, and every linguistic group is claiming to be on its own or to be superior to the other. Now, if you talk about the Hausa Fulani hegemony, the Usman Fodio Empire will tell you that they are the leaders of the North and they are the leaders of Islam. Whereas before Usman Fodio came to Nigeria, Islam was in Nigeria. And before the Fulani came to Nigeria, we had the 7 Hausa kings, we had the Brunel Empire, and we in Yoruba land we had the Ife dynasty, we had the Odudua dynasty. Much later we had the Oyo Empire, and of course we also have we had the Ijebu Empire that has never been defeated by any known military expenditure. We had so many others. You have Benin Kingdom. We had the system in the east, the south, the southeast, and other places. So which of them will you make to be superior? But unfortunately for our people, they've made Islam and Christianity to be the leaders of this country. So it's either Islam or Christianity. Whereas there are many indigenous people who neither practice Christianity nor Islam. So where would they be? So the monarchy system cannot work in Nigeria because of all this. So at best, so that we maintain the presidential system of government with modifications to suit our purpose, because it's quite expensive, it's illogical, it's unreasonable. Or we return to parliamentary system where there's accountability, where any government can be called to power, where the government can be called to resign. But the military foisted that on us. So that's the situation. In Britain, the British monarchy or the current king cannot dictate what's happening in the parliament. All that can happen is that the prime minister, if he resigns, he will go to the prime minister to tender his letter of resignation. But the king does not get involved in the day-to-day running of the parliament, nor of the government. So we need to get that clear. So there's a world of difference between what's happening in Britain, where you have only one king at the time. Where before she died, before Queen Elizabeth died, we had a queen. Now we have King Charles there. So are we saying the same thing? Okay. Yes, are you going to say that the Oba of Lagos should be the king of Nigeria? Or the Awujale should be the king of Nigeria? Or the Sultan of Sokoto? Or the Emir of Kano? Or the Olubadan? Or the Odua? Or the Alafin of Oyo? Or the Oba of Benin? So you see, the type of society we live in is different from the society of other countries, especially that of Britain. And don't forget that the Britain, it was due to the amalgamation of the southern and the northern protectorates that brought us to where we are. And it was Lady Shaw, the girlfriend, the concubine of Lord Lugard, that brought about the name. It was never to be. They not have their own ways of life. We have our own ways of life. The East believe in other things. But the type of they live in a federal type of society that was different from ours until we were brought together. And the nonsense that Lord God brought in 1914 is what is causing us the type of problem we're having now.
Sir, let me quickly bring something in there. Don't you think probably this is kind of the system they put in place to be able to have access to our resources, and also to make sure that our land is not in peace? Because the system of the democracy we are practicing is not favorable and is not moving us forward. Not only Nigeria, but almost African countries are not moving forward. So what do you think is going to be a solution beyond this 2023 election? Do you see Nigeria being together in the next 4 years?
Let me tell you that the fault is not with them. And that is contrary to what Julius Caesar said in Shakespeare. I'm sorry. What's known? This in any case, the Shakespeare in his writing, he said the fault is not in us. But I say that the fault is in us. As the Yoruba people will say,
all right. I think the network is failing us that side, but we...
Has anything stopped us from redressing the situation, from making the decision to be better than bring ourselves together? Some was it Britain that made some soldiers to stage a coup on January 15, 1966?
We broadcast from Ottawa City, the capital of Canada. Together, we raise the bar and expand our reach. Through Afromedia radio and social media channels, the viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian Afromedia channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume no responsibility.
Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afromedia offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives. Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afromedia offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives.
In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development.
All right, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate our team in Canada, and thanks to our team here in Victoria, South Africa. We are live and direct with one of our very own in the studio that we are having this conversation together. Dr. Fancy YUSUF is with us in the studio that we are having the conversation on the election of yesterday, the outcome, and the way forward for Nigeria. Sir, let's look at the body language of the ordinary citizen in Nigeria, because that is one of the biggest problems that we are facing in Nigeria. Leaders are misleading, but the followers also have some problem. Like people exchanging the money, punishing other, using 1,000 naira to collect, using 1,000 to collect 5,000 naira. What is your view about this?
Well, that was not reported yesterday, and so far there has not been any case about vote buying and all the rest. That's not to say that there won't be cases of infractions and what have you. But I've not heard about cases of vote buying or people compromising their vote and all the rest. There could be cases of underage voting or some people not doing the right thing and all the rest. Like I told you earlier, we will get to know when the various bodies that participated in monitoring the election, the Nigerian Bar Association, the European Union, USA, Canada, and other bodies who have been partners in progress, they will submit their reports and they will address the press conference. We also have Yaga Africa and all the rest. So when we collect all their reports, is then we'll be able to know what actually went wrong and whether everything was in accordance with the dictates of the electoral law. But I must say that
that is one thing, sir. But what I'm talking about is the issue of the POS, where people they need, because of the scarcity of the currency, people are also putting other citizens in a bondage by exchanging the money, putting inflation on it, and collecting more than what they need to collect from the masses.
Well, as I said, I don't deal with speculations. As a teacher of journalism, as a lawyer, and as a journalist, I don't dwell on the speculations. I've not got that report. And once I've not got that report, I cannot, because I want to make a news headline, get myself involved in such shenanigans. I don't know. I've not heard of that. And as I said, let us not be too impatient. Let us wait for the reports to be submitted by the various observer teams. And that's when we can know. But so far, none has been reported.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate that, and we really thank you for that. In a few moments, we just want to shine away from the question aspect, and we want to celebrate you as one of the icon and also as one of the great leader of our time, especially in journalism. So I want to use this time to look to you in the face and say well done for the great work you are doing in the continent of Africa and around the globe. I just want to take you back to the line of history. I want you to give us a bit of your journey, especially your personal experience that the current generation can also learn from, and your personal principle that can also bring a boost to our society, and your philosophy that the youth can also embrace and help them in the journey of life.
Well, fundamentally, my philosophy is anchored on relevance. Relevance, I said, spirituality and commonality. Relevance, spirituality, and commonality. The first one, relevance, is that don't pass through this place, don't pass through this world without being relevant to your society, to your environment. Don't be, even a horse could be relevant, but as an individual, you must be relevant to the society, to the environment. You may not be relevant to the rest of the world, but in your own little way, be relevant. Then spirituality, have feelings for others, be empathic, ensure that you live the world better than you met it, and that you are able to influence people positively. And the third one, which is can you remind me now? What did I say now? Spirituality, spirituality, commonality.
Yes, relevance, yes. Spirituality, and
commonality.
Commonality, yes.
Commonality. Yes. You must seek for the common good of people, common good of everybody. That is when the world can be a better place for everybody to live in. So if you cannot achieve these three things, then you have not lived in this world. You have not lived in this world, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, a Buddhist or what have you. You must imbibe these three aspects of philosophy. Then, my own personal life, growing up, I had some challenges, but I was able to convert those challenges into opportunities. Like when I left secondary school, I wanted to go into the university, but it was not possible immediately for me. And that was why I joined the Nigerian police force. You may not believe that. And I spent 3 years there. And it was there I started reading journalism and public relations. And within 3 years, I secured my diploma in journalism. I got a certificate of the Chartered Institute of Public Relations. And from there, I joined Rural Publicity, which was the rave of the moment. And from there, other things were falling in place because I had a focus. And I had my creator with me. And I was ready to pursue greatness. So, life will not be too easy because the world is not a bed of roses. And if you look like Longfellow said, lives of great men remind us all that you can make our lives sublime, departing, leave footprints on the sand of time. Let us be up and doing, pursuing relevance, pursuing commonality, pursuing spirituality. Look at the life of Awolowo. Look at the life of Zik. Look at the life of Ahmadu Bello Sardauna of Sokoto. Look at the life of Tafawa Balewa. Which of them did not have a problem or problems? Which of them did not face challenges? But we want the world to be a bed of roses, which cannot be. So I always want my life, I may not have achieved much, but the little I've achieved should be a pointer to people that you can really achieve greatness if you are willing to succeed.
Thank you very much. We have a question coming in that says, what are the signs of hope or optimism in this difficult reality?
Well, let us hope that whoever we emerge as the president will be ready to navigate change, will be prepared to take the country to the Eldorado, and that where he fails to perform, Nigeria should challenge him. Nigeria should look at him straight and tell him that you are a failure. Step down. We must be able to challenge our leaders. Let us do away with the little bread they'll be offering us, with the lot of bread they'll be offering us. Let us tell them that we don't need your bread. We don't need your bread. We need accountability. We need probity. We need transparency. And we need good governance. These are what can really galvanize us as a nation.
All right, so let's look at the issue of tribalism before we call it a day out of this program. It's one of the things that is setting our country, especially Nigeria, into pieces. The tribalism and the religion is playing a kind of role that is dividing us in a way. What is your view about this?
Well, our leaders brought about tribalism into the body politic. And ever since, we have not been able to erase that from the system. And until we're able to do away with tribalism, we will not get there. Because there is a mutual suspicion among the various ethnic groups. The Yorubas don't trust the Igbos. The Igbos don't trust the Fulanis or the Hausas. The Hausas don't trust the thieves or the Jokum. And that's the way it has been. Until we are able to come together as a country, united for a purpose, we may not get there. So it is a job that the incoming president will have to take upon himself to do everything possible to bring this country together, for us to eschew tribalism like the plague. And religious bigotry, we have allowed religion to take the better part of us. Our people believe so much in religiosity without spirituality. And religiosity without spirituality, without hard work, without perseverance, we can never get to anywhere. We tend to know more than the Pope. We tend to know more than the Arabs. Whereas, if you go to Israel, and never mind that the Israel is occupying a conquered territory. Yet, we go there every year, we spend billions to go to Jerusalem, to go to the Wailing Wall, to go back to Bethlehem, to go to the Dead Sea, and all the rest. We spend billions. Our government also spent billions sponsoring people to Mecca and Medina on only pilgrimage. And how have they, all these things, how have they been able to improve our lot? Have we improved spiritually? You can imagine how many religious centers we have in Nigeria. You have the greatest number of churches in Nigeria, and I'm sure you have in Canada. I'm sure you have in South Africa. Nigerians are spiritual leaders, devilish spiritual leaders, who are nature above of negativism. People who should rather live in hell than serve in paradise. You see, our leaders, they declared us with religion. They said that we lose our sense of reasoning. Whereas in Islam and Christianity, unto your religion, unto be my religion. God has said it, that if it is his wish, he will make everybody a Christian. If it is his wish, he will make everybody a Muslim. So why do we allow religion to get the better part of us? And yet, we do monumental disasters, we create monumental problems for ourselves. Look at the Canada that you're in, or South Africa, even though they have their own problems. But in Canada, you dare not do anything against the law of the land. The law will catch up with you. The same thing in Britain, the same thing in America. Why many people go to churches or mosques there? But here we are. Our people will fast for 40 days or 30 days and all the rest. At the end of the day, they engage in various practices. They engage in devilish things. May God save us from religion without spirituality.
Sir, I feel like we are going to be putting a pause to it here. It is a great pleasure having you on board to be part of this conversation as one of the great leaders, as a journalist, as a lawyer, and also as a former commissioner of the of Ogun State. I really appreciate you coming out to be part of this great conversation. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your time. We believe that Nigeria will move forward. In 1 minute, sir, look into camera and advise Nigerians.
Nigerians believe that we can be great if we are determined to be great. Believe that God has pleased the Almighty God to make us to be a country called Nigeria. Let us be up and doing. Let us do our best to achieve our potentials to make this country an Eldorado. God bless Nigeria.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria. God bless Africa. And God bless everyone listening to this broadcast this hour. This is one of the great leaders joining us. They are talking about the future. He have talked about the past. He have talked about the present. And in rounding up of this section, I just want to do a wrap up of what we have discussed. Dr. Fancy A.O. YUSUF is also a lecturer of journalism and also a great knowledgeable person. And he has spoke about the election that we should wait for the office in charge to pronounce the results. We should not cause anarchy in the land. Stop broadcasting the news that is not valid. Stop bringing things that is not real out. Focus on the real thing and call the main thing the main thing. Thank you, everyone, and to all the team in Canada, in South Africa. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your time. Dr. Fancy A.O. YUSUF, thank you very much. You are a chief, and also I give you the kudos for coming out here to be part of this conversation. Thank you very much, sir, and God bless you. To everyone, it's goodbye from here. Bye for now. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker,